Hello and welcome to the Philippines. This is a tricycle ride from Mandaue Market, I think the old market, and we're headed on the way back to the condo. I have been told that tricycles in general are not supposed to be on most of the main streets, but they do go out into those areas occasionally to get on another side street. And our taxi over here, I believe, was 125 pesos, and we agreed with this guy to pay him, I believe, either 70 or 80 pesos. We picked up a few things, and this is the old market, is what I was told. I thought originally when we headed out, I thought we were going to the new market in Mandaue, but we ended up going to the old market. I'll do a different video about that and probably compare the two. But this whole area here is lined, the streets are lined with vendors selling fruits and almost anything and everything out there. And let's see, that building in the background, that is the Bai Hotel. Relatively new, I think they've been open for a couple of years. One of the largest hotels in the Philippines, over 600 rooms, I believe. Very nice buffet. And I have done a video about that restaurant and hotel. They have given me a very nice tour. One thing that's nice to see all these tiles, concrete tiles on the side. They're doing some part of the major infrastructure. You'll see that on many streets, and they are laying more drainage tiles. So it's happening. Some places not as fast as you'd like to see it, but it is happening. When we were getting ready to leave the market, I was going to either call a Grab or try to flag down a taxi. And I was told, no, we can get a tricycle. And I didn't think a tricycle would take us point to point like that far distant. And I believe that most of those tricycle drivers kind of specialize in certain areas. I know that's the case in different towns that I've visited, is that each tricycle in general just kind of services a certain section of that town, and people know which section the different tricycle drivers go to. So you track down that one, because you normally don't hire, most Filipinos don't hire a tricycle by themselves. It costs, if you're the only rider, it's going to cost you substantially more. They get paid by piling on as many people as they can onto those tricycles, and they'll pick people up and drop them off on the way. We actually had it was the two of us, and we actually had another person riding behind the driver, and it turned out to be his wife who was riding along. And I was wondering, where is this other person going that she's riding along with us? I thought we had hired this guy just to take us. Anyway, if you know where we're at, if you have any idea, that's San Miguel Brewery right ahead of us. And this guy is one of the most efficient tricycle drivers I've ever had. He can get around and in and out of traffic. Out here we have a traffic enforcer, somebody, because so many of our intersections do not have traffic lights, and they don't have stop signs either. But that is a main road out there, and if you can see him, there's a traffic enforcer standing out there. And it's interesting, like those guys in that truck, they glanced over and saw the foreigner, and they're always so friendly. Filipinos in general are so friendly, and you know, they tell, hey, Americano over there, and everybody waves. One of the reasons why so many of us like the Philippines, the friendly people. friendly people who speak English. Two very important reasons why many of us enjoy spending our money and our time in the Philippines. I have walked this street many times. I used to live in Mandaue, right between Ayala Mall and SM Mall, and there are times during rush hour traffic where it would take me, if I was going to J Center Mall over there, I like to go over there once in a while to have dinner at Traveler's Resto Bar, and it will take me an hour if it's like 4 o'clock, 5 o'clock in the afternoon. It might take an hour, depending upon the day. Fridays are especially bad for traffic. And that was probably a Friday. It took right at an hour to make that distance. Probably 3.5 kilometers, a little over 2 miles. And I have walked it in 50 minutes, 50 minutes. So sometimes it's faster to walk. It is hotter some days than others. You walk on the shady side of the street. But here again, he was out on that main road for a short stretch, and then he took the back roads again. And a lot of industry back here, houses, anything and everything. There are no areas that I have found that I can think of right now that are just industrial zones. There probably are relatively small in the Cebu City area. But usually it's a mix of houses and industry, warehouses, manufacturing, and so you get trucks and vehicles of all sorts on these side streets. I read an article the other day that about half of the vehicles sold in the Philippines are motorbikes. And this was actually a discussion about hobble drivers. The motorbike taxis are called hobble. And many months ago, the Supreme Court came down and said that we don't have any laws regulating hobble drivers, therefore they are illegal, and they essentially shut down motorbike taxis for quite a few months. Legally, they shut them down for quite a few months. In reality, they shut them down for about a week. And the fact of the matter is that tens of thousands of people rely on the hobble drivers. Number one, for income, and if they don't drive, they don't eat. And many people rely on them for transportation. So just to pull out tens of thousands of transport vehicles out of the system in Manila and around the country, and in Cebu City and other big cities, had a major detrimental effect, obviously. A company called Ancus, and I will do a different video about that later, is one of the official motorbike taxi companies that came into being not so long ago here in the Philippines. And they were effectively shut down there again for a number of weeks. And here just recently, about the 1st of June 2019, Congress, after much debate, has decided to give them a 6-month trial period and then start determining what types of regulations, what types of training motorbike taxis will have to undergo, carrying insurance. This guy is pretty efficient, pretty aggressive. At some moments, I'm not sure if he understands that there's a sidecar on the side of his bike, because he's going down some rather narrow, using the shoulder as much as possible. But anyway, they're going to give him a 6 month trial to prove that they can do it, and do it in a safe manner, and then they will come up with laws about helmets and regulations for insurance coverage on your passengers, which is nice. And if you go to ANGKA's site, ANGKAS, they have parcel delivery too, and I think their site states that they have 3,000 peso insurance on the packages that they carry, but doesn't say anything about passengers this time. There goes Rocket Man, propane tanks on the back of his motorbike. And so reality is that millions of people rely on this transportation. Tens of thousands, if not hundreds of thousands, rely on that to provide them with income, their family with food every day. You've noticed how people drive here a little bit on this video, and I've done other videos as well. And you know, in the West, in the U.S., you would have major road rage. There would be fights, there would be killings if people drove like this. You would take offense. You know, people would become very aggressive. Now here, very rarely, you know, sometimes you hear horns blaring, but it's rather rare to have road rage. There's road rage. Occasionally somebody gets killed. Now that guy in the black pickup, he's in as big or bigger hurry than our driver is here, and he's taking every opportunity to try to get ahead of the traffic. He has some urgent place to be, he or she. The two most aggressive drivers that I've ridden with here in the Philippines were actually Filipinos who lived in the U.S., lived and worked in the U.S. most of their life. And they had vehicles here, and rode with them, and they were aggressive, very aggressive, the road rage, very impatient, on the horn. They picked that up from living in the U.S., I guess, part of the culture there. In some parts of the U.S. more than others, but I think it's probably pretty universal. But here, people give way. You know, they don't always appreciate it. Even these motorbike drivers, you see them, you know, a couple will cut way ahead. Now you got some guys up, if you see that guy up on the wire, he's got a ladder and he's working on the wire. They're installing a new wire line up there. And I didn't realize it till just a little bit later, there's a guy right above me as well. And he's standing on the wires. That's what's holding him up. Hanging onto the wires, standing on the wires, crawling on the wires, putting in a new wire up there. And here you'll get a look at the guy right above me real quickly as we're getting ready to leave there, climbing around on the wires up there. We do things a little differently here. And there are safety rules in different industries. Sometimes they are adhered to and followed, oftentimes not so. And it works with very few stop signs, almost no stop signs, very few traffic lights here in Cebu City and other small towns and cities. Traffic goes, it goes, people stick their nose out, you know, it goes from one direction for a while, people stick their nose out, the traffic stops, they allow a certain number of people to go from the other direction, and it works. Sometimes they have traffic enforcers. More and more they're hiring traffic enforcers to help enforce laws. Read they just deputized about 400 people to help enforce laws, so we'll see what happens there. Anyway, here's another case, an intersection, no stop sign, and we'll just go around that, stick our nose out into that traffic, and no one will honk their horn or get out or scream or holler at us. Anyway, thank you for watching. Please like the video, please share the video, please subscribe. Safe travels to you all, and we will see you next time. See, we just pull out here and no big issue. Life goes on.